Sin, cleanse, and repeat. The get out of jail free card in Monopoly. That is how some uses the belief system, especially Christianity. They use the Messiah, they use God like that to pretty much cleanse them or to redeem them when they're in the pickle, when they're in trouble, when the odds seems highly like in their favor. They run to good old Daddy and Son, even the Holy Spirit, or Kakadish, whatever you want to call it. Do they really learn the lesson or take more accountability? Well, it's up to their own individual spiritual growth and evolution that determines that. That determines if they're actually genuine, if they're turning their ways and being a better person, or they simply just want to be forgiven and they want to forget it and just probably fall for the same traps or same issues or same habits again. But the hopes is for them to learn and to actually grow from it and to evolve, to change to something more positive. That what makes the belief system kind of, in my opinion, kind of dangerous, as well as keeps you in bondage. Yeah, it frees you from one shackles, but then you place yourself in willing bondage in other ways, and that is in your desires of your flesh, your sin, or your wants, or your toxic behavior. Because you place yourself back in it because you want to do it because you think you just something's gonna get me out of it or save me because it's unconditional and you use love behind it. That all they're gonna do is forgive me again. You know what I'm saying? So it's taken for granted. But I you say God or this being force you into existence. That's a bondage in itself. It sets you up to learn to be tempted by the fruit of knowledge. Someone tempting you into his own creation. Some say it could have been Christ. Some say it's Sophia. Some say it's God real. Some said it's Lucifer. Say all these different theories. But it's basically just showing you that it's just people doing stuff, entities doing stuff, not taking full accountability of what they've done. The damage of creation, basically. And that's what it did. And now we're in this round where struggling or always seeking to clean up the mess of creations, the mess that is done by people and by deities or beings. Just beings, let's say it like that. Demystify this stuff. Just it's basically the nature of some of these people, or some, or just nature of humanity, just wanting to do things, great things. If you make a boo-boo mistake, just clean it up and try again. And the religion pretty much reflects that. The system reflects that in some cases. So you gotta ask yourself, is it more of a benefit or is more of a hindrance? It was a shackling. That's why I say like indoctrination is enslaving, it's a bondage. Because it tries to mold you, or people use it to mold others into what they think they should be. and to use it to as an alibi to get away with crude actions and abuse and manipulation, to coddle in some cases major offenses when you've done something horrible or hurtful. It can be used for good, but then some abuse it. That's what I'm trying to say. And you would think that a deity God would know, but you look at the story. The story is the beings are semi-bondaging the people themselves because you're sentencing them and kicking them out when they make one mistake. Be fruitful and multiply, and all you got to do is just continue to give sacrificial offerings, and then this Messiah comes and set the example, but he dies for the sins, and now people using it just to sin, cleanse, and repeat instead of repenting and doing better. And then all in the name of love, you forcing other beings into resistance, into bondage, into vessels that they have access to not only good but evil and sin. And then you use it as an excuse of Old Testaments to give them an excuse. And then when it was Christ's turn to clean up the mess, he gives a choice, an option. See, a method of coddling. When the time for you to be the strictest, you didn't. The ones that needed to be handled and bound, you decide to be lenient upon. So it seems like you want a sin. I don't know if you want a sinful nation or a sinless nation, because your system makes for a sinful nation still, because they're giving options. They're giving get out of hell free cards. You tell them, "Oh, I'm afraid of you. Be like me," but you can marry, and then you say stuff like, "But one gift is of a gift from God, and one it is her own." But then you have other scriptures or other forms and lines of in the book condemning a certain union or other ways, saying that's abomination or self gratification, all this stuff. Like, you condemn other acts, but when it comes to condemning the act that puts more in bondage and in bounds into this realm, you the most lenient on. So it shows that this faith is used to more or less bound you. They gaslight you to think they're about going against sin and evil, when at the same time you avoiding it throughout the book, old and the new. Stuff has been done that has celebrated the wicked. To my, I reign on the just and the unjust. Why? The spoils of the wicked will become the righteous. What? When? When? They have pillaged other people's land because they on the opposite team of this so-called God, and they doing evil just as much as evil. They pillaging, killing men, women, and children, or they take them and do what you as you please to the women and children, kill the men. So The system reflects that. They use the religious system to reflect that. People getting rewarded underneath. Do I say evil rewarded evil? Do I say, one of my songs called non-existence. And antinatalists, principalities to the power of God, like good, evil, rubric, and nebulous Christ did lead us just for you could be a simp. Why would you procreate on the rule of tyrants that play chess with you? So why would you bring my toys? And people still do it. So between them being governed by their own evil ways, lustful desire ways, being hetero, forcing carelessly forcing others into hardship, into suffering, into a struggling environment and predicaments. That you rather do that than actually take accountability and to stop yourself. Especially if you know you had it wrong. Find some method to not force another being into existence. Because bringing them into this world is bringing them into bondage. It's evil. But you do it because deep down is a part of you that is evil. And the beings that will forgive you or gives you the opportunity to keep making the mistakes and being cleansed and repeat, you might as well say that's evil as well. Or they're neutral. Or that your system that you use and you exploit it and use it to benefit you. So you can keep doing it. And for the ones that have different belief systems, if you research, their system just as bad because all they got to do is sacrifice. Animal, human, whatever. And then they keep doing their sin and evil as much as they want. You give up their offering, your sigils, or altars, they do it. And that's why they prospering. Because they're giving their offerings to beings that requiring them for said favor in this wicked world. Sacrificial beings, sacrificial children, or sacrificial people, or animals, or whatever. It's evil. And then what makes it so bad is that they use their divination or use words, belief systems, Bible scriptures, whatever, as divination. They're telling everybody to their face that they hide behind a facade. It's wicked deep down. We all need to see clearly what this stuff is for. That's why people don't go into religion, because it's nothing but another cult. It's a legion. Religion. They have to tell you these things because they it's the game that they're playing. It's a karmic game that they're playing. They want to be let off the hook. So they tell the truth to some degree. Or it's just simply just to play a game. It's a mind game. But they have to tell you the truth because you need to see the truth. And only a person who is not as awakened or aware will not see it. But you can't blame the folks because they kind of told you anyway. That's why they doing it. It's quite alarming. It shows you the nature of some people. It does. I always want to have that hope that people try to do the right thing, but they're just That's what makes me. That's why I haven't been as pushing like I once was doing um, about my belief system or the belief system of Christ, Yeshua, Hebrew, whatever, because it just shows you the nature of this system and the nature of even these beings and why the system functions the way that it functions. And I'm telling you right now, that's why. That's how. And it seems disappointing, but at the same time, it is what it is. But I'm still advocating for not birthing others. And I'm bringing the truth to his head. But if people still going to continue doing it, it just shows them who they are at the core. It also shows the system what it is at the core as well. That's why I advocate for stuff like none forcing others and none existence and even wiping things out. But my pushback also shows, or the pushback also shows their core in nature for some of these beings. They don't care if they're forcing children into suffering. They don't care. As saddening as it may sound for me saying this, but I'm gonna leave it at that and be that. Hopefully, it shed the light on this existence. For sure. Hopefully, the right thing will be done, despite of and something or someone will save us out from bondage and find some way to at least deactivate procreation.